What's up, guys? This is English Grammar Explained, and this time we are going to change the active sentence into passive sentence. So basically, my task number 1, replace my subject with my object and then turn the main verb into passive, and this is it. Okay, number 1, an expert is restoring the antique car. This is my subject, an expert. Here I have the main verb in continuous present, and this is the object. So I replace subject with object, and my subject is placed in the position of former object. And of course I turn is restoring into passive. So let's have some color identification here. This is the main verb and this is the object. So the antique car is being restored by an expert. Okay, number 2. Steven Spielberg has directed a lot of successful films. The same is here. Steven Spielberg is the subject. And here I have has directed, that's the main verb in present perfect. And then I have these strange words, a lot of interesting films. Basically, my object is here, it is this word, films. But both successful and a lot of are connected. They are closely connected with these films. They don't exist without this word. So I see this like one big word. And in the passive sentence, this will be so. A lot of successful films. Then goes the main verb in present perfect, have been directed. And then the agent by Steven Spielberg. And that's it. Okay, number 3. They saw 2 men running out of the bank. Here I have the subject, then the main verb, saw, and this thing here is a huge object. But basically my object is just this word here, man. But all other words are connected with these men. So this is just like one big chunk of the sentence. Okay, so 2 men running out of the bank. Here comes my main verb, were seen, and then the agent by them. And that's it. Number 4. A number of reporters will meet the professor at the airport. Just the same, a number of reporters is my subject here. Then comes the main verb in future simple here. And then comes the object. And here the object is just this word, the professor. This one. What about at the airport? At the airport is the word connected with my main verb. It's the place of action. The action is not performed on the airport. It's performed on the professor. So, I begin with my professor, because this is the main object. The professor, then I put the main verb, will be met, and then I put this thing at the airport, and only then I put by a number of reporters, aka my agent. Okay, done. What about the next sentence? Next sentence, a famous designer is going to redecorate the president's house. So what we have here? We have this big subject. Then we have this mysterious main verb. It's actually the main verb plus infinitive. And then I have this object. So I start, as usual, I start from the president's house, from the object which becomes the subject. And what about my main verb? It's a bit strange, and it acts like this. Is going, doesn't change, because it's just like modal verb. It doesn't change, but my infinitive changes into passive. Is going to be redecorated. This is the main trick here. And then by a famous designer. What about number 6? The Romans founded baths in the 1st century AD. So what we have here, the Romans is the subject, then comes founded, that's the main verb in simple past, and then comes baths, that's the object. And this thing here is the time of action. So I begin with baths. Then comes my main verb in passive form, was founded. Then I put by the Romans. And then in the 1st century. As you see, the time of action, all the words showing time of action, they don't move anywhere. They just stay where they are. Unlike the place of action, which should be after the main verb. That's very important. Okay, number 7. A loud noise woke Mary up. So loud noise is my subject, then comes woke, that's the main verb in simple past, and then Mary, that's the object. And what about this up? What is this? Up is just the part of my main verb. So the object basically cuts my main verb into 2 pieces. Okay, so I start with Mary. Mary was woken up. Because object is placed in the first position, my main verb has reunited. And then by a loud noise. Number 8. He made their work overtime. So here I have the subject. Here is my main verb. Here is my object. And this thing here is infinitive. It's bare infinitive because of the main verb, make. After make, we use infinitive without to. And then I have the way of action. As usual, I begin with my objects. She. Here turns into she. Then I put my main verb, was, made, and then I have to put my infinitive, to work. In passive forms, we use full infinitives. Then I put this overtime, because that's the way of action, so it's connected with my main verb. And then I put my agent, by him. And we are done. What about number 9? Van Gogh painted sunflowers. So here I don't have any surprises. Van Gogh is the subject, then comes the main verb, painted in simple past, and then I have sunflowers, that's the object. Okay, so let's start with sunflowers. Sunflowers, that's the name of the picture. That's not the plural noun, that's the name of the picture. So I put it like this. Then I put my main verb, singular, because that's the picture and it is unique. Was painted. And then the agent, by Van Gogh. And the last, astronauts are exploring space. Same thing here, astronauts, the subject, then we have the main verb in continuous present, and then we have the object, nothing fancy. So I start with my object, space, then I put my main verb in passive form, is being explored. And then I put the agent, by astronauts. And we are done. I put the link to theory piece into this video description. Feel free to comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.